Yo, 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 people and patrons of the night, welcome back to the Horror Tavern. We are back. We're better than ever. It's been a few days before I got another recording up on this channel, but I've been pretty busy with work, so I just really haven't had time to record. But I got a few days off now, and I got a little bit of a lightened up schedule for the weekend, so I'm going to have time to record some videos, make some more content for you guys, so that way you can have a good time. And this review is special for me, because this is a horror comic issue review that I actually read this a while ago, I think maybe it might have been a year ago or several months ago I read this, and I did not make a review for it at the time, shamefully, but I decided, you know what, today was a day that I just felt like revisiting it. I feel like I want to make reviews on, all 5 of the issues in this comic, as well as the sequel, Volume 2 comic that came out. So that's why I decided to reread this. And I thought, you know what? I might as well make a review, because in this issue, it's got 2 good to great stories. One of them is good. One of them is, Vaseline required. Yo, one of them is just, get ready. One of them is the most fun horror stories that I've ever read. I mean, it is iconic. It makes you laugh your ass off. It'll make you a little bit uncomfortable with the villain because of the aura that he gives off. And overall, this issue of Volume 1 for this comic was creepy, scary, ominous, but it had good artwork to it. It had a lot of fun aspects to it that'll just make you pretty much satisfied with what you finish. So let's talk about Creepshow Volume 1, Issue 1. This has 2 stories in it. One of them, the first one, is called Take One. The other one is called Shingo. Now, I'm going to be first discussing the plots of the first story, giving my thoughts, and then I'll do the second story and then give my thoughts. But man, I can't wait to talk about it. I'm going to show you guys some artwork from the comics because I have it pulled up on my Kindle. I am not going to show the big stuff so you don't get any spoilers, but there is some really cool stuff that I do want you guys to just see, just to get a feel of it. So let's get into Creepshow Volume 1, Issue 1. So the first story is Take One. This is by the writer and artist Chris Burnham. Chris Burnham, he does a good story. The artwork in this one is really old school. It reminds me of like the old school type of comic artwork, and it deals with an urban legend story. The urban legend story basically takes place with these 3 kids who are out there on Halloween night in this dark, kind of creepy suburb, and they go to this house of this guy called Mr. Xander, I believe his name is. And Mr. Xander kind of has this urban legend surrounding him, where you notice that in this friend group, there's these 2 kind of idiot bully characters that kind of remind you of those sort of typical characters you might see in like an 80s or 90s horror movie. You get that kind of vibe with their dialogue and just how sort of just crass they are and just sort of how sleazy they can get, but it's all done in a fun way. So these 2 kids are basically dragging along this little guy. And this little guy is kind of like nervous. He's in a mummy costume, and you can tell that he doesn't really feel good about hanging out with these guys. You get the impression that he might be like an innocent kid within the wrong crowd. And these 3 guys end up in front of Mr. Xander's house. And Mr. Xander is this local guy around the neighborhood that was known for being a very mean-spirited dude. Like, he was that typical grouchy old man neighbor guy who would tell people to keep off of his lawn, to stay off his property. He was basically just considered like an evil, mean-spirited dude who hated kids and hated all the people around this suburb. And when these 3 kids go to basically walk by his house, which has been abandoned because of an incident that happened to him, they see this bowl of chocolate bars that's left behind in front of the porch of the house outside, and it says Take One, which is what the story is named after. And this is very odd to them because they're like, wait a minute, the story about Mr. Xander in terms of his urban legend is like there was a kid who was riding his bike in front of his lawn, and when he ended up on his lawn, it was said that Mr. Xander came out and shot and killed the kid with a gun. So that urban legend sort of went around promoting how evil this dude was, but the kids sort of try to debunk it. They're like, nah, the leader guy in the group, who he doesn't have a costume, he's just dressed up in like a normal like vest and shirt and whatever. He says like, no, That's not what happened. That dude fell off a tree and died. And Mr. Xander, his house has been abandoned for a long time because his daughter apparently shot him in the head with a shotgun and killed him. So that makes him think, who put the bowl of chocolate bars outside the house if this is an abandoned crib? So that sort of makes them a little bit on edge. But the two kids who are very sleazy and crass bullies, they don't care. They're like, nah, fuck that shit. We're going to take more than one chocolate bar. We don't give a fuck what the sign says. And the kid in the mummy costume is a little bit like scared. He's nervous. But they basically try to blackmail him. They're like, nah, listen, if you bitch out, if you don't take more than one chocolate bar, we're going to start, talking shit about you at school, telling them you still wet the bed. And obviously the kid then starts to lean in and he takes in more than one chocolate bar, puts it in. Meanwhile, the other two bullies basically steal all the chocolate bars, leave nothing in the bowl, and they head out of there. And as they're trying to figure out what they're going to do next, and the two kids are like, oh yeah, let's go egg this local church, and trying to figure out some more shit that they can do around town. All of a sudden, the little kid, who I think his name is Willie, he basically has a bad feeling in his gut. He thinks that there might be somebody who's like watching him or tracking their movement. He doesn't know if he's being paranoid with it being a dark Halloween night. Maybe he's creeped out by the urban legend and he's suspecting some shit. But, he starts getting more and more weirded out, thinking that people are spying on him. And that guilt is kind of symbolized in his, little pumpkin bowl of the candy that he stole. And he's like, you know what? Let me try to get rid of the evidence. So he tries eating a chocolate bar and throwing the wrapper into a trash can nearby. And he sees something. He sees some real scary shit. Some horrific, I'm talking about demonic aura kind of shit. The thing about this story is the villain has got aura. The villain's got major aura. Something comes after him to try to basically teach him a lesson about breaking the rules and, sort of being ill-spirited. And there is a bloodbath that goes on. There is some brutal violence on kids that happens in the climax of this short story. Some awesome gore, just some well-drawn action scenes that I won't show because it's going to be spoilers. And there's a decision that has to be made by this innocent kid as to what he's going to do. And he may or may not make either the right or wrong choice. And you see what the implications of that are and essentially what happens to these three kids involving whatever entity is hunting them down for breaking the rules of Halloween and breaking the rules that were placed in front of them. So this is a good story. I would give this before I gave it a 7.5 out of 10, which I think that's probably still what this is kind of has to be, but to me, I would either give it like a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. I think this is a pretty good, if not just flat out good story. It's got a lot of amazing artwork in it that really sets up the atmosphere and the setting for Halloween in this suburb. You got some awesome kind of like shots and stuff that make you kind of creeped out, and you kind of feel the eerie setting along with the kids. You feel that tension building in you. Some of the artwork, which I can show you right now, this is the opening page of Take One. So you can see the sort of artwork that it has. Yeah, so you obviously got the creep there. You got the kids, the main one in the front, and then you got the hot dog dude who's also a bully, the little kid Willie, the mummy costume, Take One. It's some really, really good artwork. It looks like that typical old school comic art that you used to get, which I appreciate because I think that comic art enhances both of the stories in this Volume 1, Issue 1. Just adds the atmosphere to it. And then there's another scene in here which I do want to show. And this is, not really spoilers, I guess. I don't really know. And the artwork, it's going to be zoomed in, so it'll look a little bit iffy. But you kind of got, when he throws out the wrapper into the trash can, you see some stuff. And yeah, I don't know how well you can see that, but something in the background of that trash can, there is a glare. Let me see if I could try to reduce it. But now, I don't know if you can see with the glare. And then obviously, got his reaction. And yeah, oh yeah, the aura on this motherfucker here. This is some crazy ass aura that he's got going on, looking hyper sinister. So yeah, whatever entity is coming after him in this case is quite terrifying, to say the least. And that's where I'm going to leave it at. The rest of it gets pretty violent, pretty gory, but I want you guys to pick this up and read it so you can find out. And that's Take One. That's the good story. This next story, though, is fucking fantastic, dude. This second story, let me get the names of the writers and the artists because you guys fucking nailed it out of the park. This story is called Shingo, which is why I titled this video, The Most Fun Horror Story I've Read is in this. It's from this. Shingo is written by Paul Dini and Stephen Langford, and the artist is John McCrea. I believe that's how you say it. If I messed it up, apologies. Colorist Mike Spicer and letterer Pat Browse. Yeah, this is a fantastic short story. This is the most fun horror story that I have read in a long time, dude. I mean, I've not had this much fun in a long time reading a horror short story. This short story is basically about this single mom who has a daughter, and she's in a tough situation because obviously single mother, she divorced from her husband. The daughter, kind of lost her father, and the father is implied to be like a cheating piece of shit. Like he's kind of like a douchebag who left him behind. So now it's the daughter's, I believe, like, I don't know if it's 12th or 13th. I don't know what birthday it is, but her birthday's coming up. Middle school girl. And the mother is really struggling to get this birthday party set up with her friends. She can't find an entertainer. She can't find a clown or magician to bring over. So she's really, really struggling. And then as she's basically getting frustrated with her situation, thinking about how bad cards have been dealt to her, and she has to find a way to make her daughter happy, the doorbell rings. And when she opens up the doorbell, fuck am I talking about? Yo, fucking dirt. Opens up the door after the doorbell, she sees a letter. And the letter has a picture of this creature or monster on there celebrating with some kids drawn on there. And it says that the birthday party entertainer she could hire, according to this card, is named Shingo. Shingo's lots of fun, makes kids happy, parties, dancing, all this different stuff. And when she hires this guy, Shingo, she finds out that he doesn't even require payment. He doesn't even want to be paid in money or anything. The only thing he requires is just lunch. That's it. And then you cut to the actual birthday party and you see Shingo. And Shingo is this like 9 foot tall, what seems like guy in a monster costume. I mean, it's like a 9 foot tall costume. It looks like a little bit like Barney, but like a different, it looks similar to, like, if you've ever seen The Haunting Hour, Big Yellow. This thing gives off that kind of vibe where it's this 8 foot tall, like purple dinosaur, but it looks like an orangutan. It's like a mix of like this giant hulking orangutan with these humongous comical eyes and giant jagged teeth. And even though it's got the body of this huge orangutan, it's got this long purple Barney tail with spikes on it. So it looks pretty weird. It looks pretty, it looks goofy, but goofy in a creepy way, because it's a horror story. Things are probably going to get bad, and the implications of that is pretty early on. So this birthday party entertainer is there, and you see that obviously the daughter is not very impressed. This guy is basically dancing with the kids. He's partying with the kids. You find out again that he doesn't require payment. He just wants lunch. And she's not very satisfied. She wishes that her dad could be here and that her parents would just get along and try to take care of her. And, she banters between her and her best friend. And you see Shingo finally get up. And he starts going to go like eat lunch and stuff. So he goes and starts raiding the dining table of all the cake and cupcakes and pizza and food and drink, and starts going crazy and animal. And the main character girl, the daughter, and her best friend are trying to figure out, like, what the hell is this guy even supposed to be? They have no clue. They're like, all right, is he from a comic book? Get it? Is he from a comic book? Is he from a movie? Is he from a book? Like what is this dude from? And then like they try to think like, oh, is he a Pokemon? Like, is this dude like some type of Pokemon that we don't know about? And that's when they start asking Shingo some questions. They're like, yo, Shingo, like, where are you from? And Shingo, he's got that typical birthday party voice. He's like, hey, kids, let's dance and party, have fun. Me, Shingo, dance. And he's like, Shingo from far, far, far away, kiddos. And then the daughter's like, yo, where are you from? The land of Loserville? And he's like, no, no, no. Shingo's from the deep abyss thousands of years ago, consuming human life until I reach the upper world and rain havoc. Or maybe not. Shingo say silly things. And you're like, what the fuck did you just say, sir? Like, hey, yo, what the fuck? Back up. Back, no, hit the rewind button. Back that shit up. What the fuck did you just say to me, bruh? Like, you're like, whoa, this dude might be more than meets the eye. And it's got very on-the-nose humor, You get that suspicion that this guy Shingo may be more than meets the eye. You don't know what to feel about him. The kids start to slowly suspect, but they continue partying and doing stuff. Some of the kids are very nonchalant and don't think anything of it, but you get the main characters kind of like the impression that they're onto this guy, that there's something more about it. And you may find out that Shingo might be some sort of extra-worldly monster or demon, because as the kids go on their phones and do a quick Google search after some crazy stuff is happening in the background that implies this man is a warrior. He's a warrior. The kids look up a quick Google search and they find this 11th century demon etymology, like whatever, I guess, website or something. And it mentions this demon that used to exist, or was said to exist, called Shingoku the Ravener, which was a bottomless stomach monster that used to eat every single entity and human within sight, raining havoc across the landscapes and towns. And you start to put two and two together. Maybe there's more than meets the eye, and some crazy shit starts going down. And yeah, the story gets pretty wild. This story is great because of the fact that it has some really cool creature feature monster action. It's got that fun birthday party setting where it's got these vibrant colors in the artwork. Everybody's dancing and partying. You obviously have this very fun setting contrasted, juxtaposed with this goofy but creepy, terrifying looking monster, a similar vibe to like a Chuck E. Cheese animatronic, a mascot character. Again, I need a crossover where Haunting Hour's Big Yellow faces off against Shingo. I think I got my money on Shingo, but I need to see those two clash, because you got this basically monster action, this kaiju monster action going on. So that's all very cool. I like the fact that the story has this underlying theme of this girl basically dealing with the problem of her parents being divorced, and that being a factor where she just wants her family in her life. She wants them together. She feels like they're not giving them attention. The mother feels like she's not doing a good job. The dad is very nonchalant and he's sort of playing the victim. So you got family dynamics between it. And the climax to this story gets crazy. You got some chase scenes. You got some potential violence and crazy stuff happening. And the ending to this story is a literal bloodbath. It is violent, but it's done in a way that the violence matches a birthday party game, a birthday party gimmick. So it sort of plays off of that. And in a way, it also symbolizes the main character sort of overcoming and understanding a part of herself. It's kind of nice the way the story wraps up, because it's sort of like she's fighting this exterior demon, but at the same time she's fighting her inner demons. So I really like that just well-crafted package of a short story. And yeah, let me show some of the artwork, because this artwork is pretty crazy. This is the opening artwork where you got this obviously beautiful scene of this suburb. You got this full moon out. You got the clouds like this mist. And obviously across the sidewalk, you got Shingo written. And all the way at the end, you see the silhouette of the figure. So that's a really cool opening shot. Again, the artwork in these comics is fucking fantastic. And let me find a picture of Shingo, which is probably going to be on this thumbnail. Oh yeah, baby. Let's look at our main man, Shingo. I told you he looked goofy but creepy. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. This thing looks horrific. And check out the vibrant colors. Check out the setting of it, bro. It looks crazy. The birthday party, confetti, everybody dancing and partying. And then you got this goofy looking but creepy monster basically dancing. It looks great, man. I love that. And I have to specifically highlight, this man Shingo has got fucking aura. I don't say that often, but there's certain villains that I read in horror that they got like anime villain level aura. Like, yo, you see Shingo at certain parts in this fucking comic and you're like, yo, he's a warrior, he's a demon, he's a monster, yo. Like, he's fucking on timing. Like, just the fact that he's so goofy and so over the top, but he's got these really sinister shots of him, these moments where he sort of like snaps, and you get this hint that there might be more than meets the eye. You know, typically even birthday party entertainers in general are a little bit creepy, especially when they're very like over the top playful, when they're too much involved, like, you know, hanging out with the kids and touching the kids and trying to be all there for the kids because they're probably going to play with your booty hole. It is what it is. But this dude, he's not that type of warrior. He's not the Boondocks type of warrior in that way. Luckily, we don't get that. But he's got that same type of feel. Like, he's got that fucking sinister aura. He's got that, yo, I'm not about that bullshit. I'm on timing. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with me. And he lets it be known. And let me just show you, bruh. These are gonna be a little bit poor quality, but like, yo, this man has got some sinister scenes. Look at this shit. He's a warrior. You see him in the back. He's pissed. He's like, yo, this bitch pulled up. She thinks she can be birthday party. He's pissed. Look at him. Look at this next shot. He's inside. Look at that. On some scary ass Dr. Seuss shit, bro. Look at bro in the background. He's like, you fucking with my territory? He's like, nah, bro. And this shot right here is when I knew it was raps, bro. This is when I knew it was raps. Look at this man in the background, bro. Yo, I would have told mom, like, yo, fuck that PS5. I need you to buy a stretcher. I need you to buy tourniquets. I need you to get me a Remington, douse it in holy water. First, if I saw this shit, I'm blowing chunks into the toilet, and then I'm going to take my holy water shotgun, and I'm going to start blowing chunks in other places. Look at this fucking demon timing motherfucker, yo. It's crazy. And there's a lot of funny-ass humor in here. This girl dressed up as a princess. Turns out that the dad brought her as an entertainer, and she's like a stripper. And there's like a line in here that was like, made me laugh. Because like, she even gets accused of being a stripper by the mom. Or the mom's like, oh yeah, you brought one of those fucking, you know, hoes from the strip club and shit. And at the end of the story, oh, here it is. She's like, oh, I gave up pole dancing for this. We're through, Tom. And he's like, oh, please, Sherry, don't leave. And then the fucking best friend of the mom is like, you guys definitely need a family therapist and an exorcist. And I was like, yo, I was laughing my ass off with this whole story. So yeah, man, this is a great comic issue. You know, I think you guys should all check it out. I think you'll have a fun time. It's short, it's easy reads. I try to keep it a little bit vague in certain places. I didn't show you a lot of it because I want you guys to experience it for yourselves. And yeah, this definitely gets my recommendation. The Shingo story gets a 10 out of 10, and this Take One story gets a 8 out of 10 for me. So overall, this issue gets a 9.5 out of 10. A Hall of Fame collection of 2 short stories. And please, 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 go give them a read. That's all I got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that subscribe button down below and hit that like button. It's an easy way to rate my video. It's an easy way to support my community, and it's free, and it means a lot to me. So yeah, stay tuned for more content to come, and that's all I got for today. Deuces. And always remember, kids, stay away from the warriors. He's a warrior.